What's going on, guys? William James here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to sell anything in Facebook Messenger. This is super important, especially if you're doing organic free strategies on Facebook. You got to be able to talk to people in such a way that you actually move them towards the sale and get the sale. So if you are new to the channel, again, my name is William James. I do videos for affiliate marketers, network marketers, course creators, anyone starting and growing an online business. I specialize, of course, in free organic Facebook traffic strategies. I have a whole Facebook group where I teach the ins and outs of mastering the Facebook algorithm and closing sales on Facebook. If you're not already in that group, there'll be a link down below this video where you can join the group, as well as checking out some other links for awesome opportunities and products that I recommend. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Share the video, and please subscribe to the channel. Okay, guys, so that's out of the way. Let's dive in. How to sell anything in Facebook Messenger. So, Facebook, as far as the free organic Facebook marketing goes, there's kind of two sides to making sales as far as as I can make out. One side is this sort of one-to-many approach where you're creating content and you're sending out emails to your list and you're building your following and all of that, and you're not directly speaking to people, but your content is kind of selling for you, and that's great because it's passive. You sort of don't have to actually talk to anyone, right? But then there's the other side, which is talking to individual people one-on-one. And I really am a big believer in doing both. A lot of people are freaked out by the idea of prospecting, talking to people in Messenger and trying to close sales. So they want to only do the sort of what they perceive as the attraction marketing method of just creating content and never actually talking to anybody. And I think that's a mistake, especially when you're starting out. You need to be doing both. So in this video, we're going to talk about that one-to-one conversation side of things. So there's a few things to remember when you're talking to people. The first one is that in general, you want to be approaching every conversation that you have with the attitude not of I'm trying to sell this person something, but with the attitude of asking about them and learning about them as much as possible, because people, it's just a fundamental truth about human beings that we do not like to be sold to, but we do like to talk about ourselves, and we do like to buy things if we feel that we're the one making the decision to buy something. And if you haven't read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, this is I would recommend it, because the basic concept is that you got to let people more or less sell themselves. People are never really convinced by you trying to convince them of something. They're convinced by themselves, basically. People are concerned with themselves, and they want what they want, and they're not really interested in somebody else coming in and trying to convince them to do something. So with that in mind, you need to approach your Messenger conversations from the perspective of listening and diagnosing. You're like a doctor, right? That you want to find out, the person comes into your Facebook Messenger, and you want to find out if they're having any problems, basically. Same as if they were coming in for a doctor's visit. You'd be asking them questions about how they're doing, trying to see what their problems are. And you let them tell you what their problems are, and then if you think you've got a solution for them, you can say, you might want to check out this, right? Nobody, what most people are doing is it's the equivalent of, somebody comes into the doctor, and the doctor, before they even ask any questions or ask how the guy's doing, they're like trying to sell them some drug, and it doesn't work that way. So when you come in to a Facebook Messenger conversation, the first thing that I do is to just find out if the person is open to communicating or not. And because if they're not really interested in talking about themselves or opening up to me, there's really nothing that I can do with that person. I'm not interested in trying to convince them to buy something if they won't even talk to me. So the first thing that I do is find out if they're open to communicating. That's the first step. And basically I do that by asking them about themselves. I send a message that's like, hey, great to be connected on here. I like to, get to know my Facebook friends a little bit. So would you mind, telling me a little bit about who you are, what you're up to, what your journey's been like, whatever, right? I mean, you can phrase it however you want, but you just ask them to tell you something. And, the people who are open to communicating will reply and they'll tell you something about themselves. So, from there, you have to use your judgment in terms of figuring out whether this is somebody who then, uh, might be interested in your offer. And the process of doing that is called qualifying them. So, up until now, we've had, these are basically the first three steps, which are contact, say hello, communicate, find out if they're open to communicating, establish some back and forth. Okay, like, are they going to message you back? Contact, communicate. Qualify is the third step. Qualify is like, you're just trying to ascertain what problems they might be having in their business, right? And you're not coming at this from a perspective of like, I'm going to try to sell them. So it's very important to, because people often, they're savvy and they kind of know what you're doing, right? And so it's important to not be too like arrogant when you do this. You're not like, oftentimes I'll get into Facebook Messenger chats with people, and the first thing they do is like, yeah, bro, like let me know if I can like help you with your sales or anything. Like, they're very they kind of assume this position of authority over me, or superiority. Like they're automatically kind of letting me know that they're super successful and I should be interested in getting their help. And I think that's a bad, it's an obnoxious way of doing things. It might work for somebody who's like really desperate, but it's just rude. So, you know, I try to be very humble, very approachable, and just very casual and conversational. And I'm going to try to ask them some questions about themselves to see what's going on. Like what's the deal? You know, how long have they been doing their business? What kind of business are they in? Um, is it something that they are mostly marketing on Facebook, or are they doing paid ads? Like, what are their struggles? You know what I mean? It can be difficult to get people to open up to you if you come across in an unpleasant way, or if you come across as somebody who is trying to sell them something. The best way I have found to do this without coming across that way is, first of all, to have high quality content on your profile and to look like somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, so that they don't try to sell me something. Because oftentimes, we get into these Facebook Messenger conversations and both people are trying to sell each other something. And then it's very hard to be in proper communication when you're like both trying to sell each other. So if you can get your content on your profile and your engagement and all of that and your branding set up so that you look like somebody who is knows what they're doing to some degree, if not like super successful, you just reduce to some degree the possibility that the person is just going to come in there and try to pitch you something. Because if they do that, it's very hard to be in authentic communication. So you're talking to them, right? And assuming that they're willing to open up to you and tell you the truth, you need to find out if they are actually someone who has a problem that your offer might be able to solve, right? And when I first met somebody, they have no idea who I am, and we're just starting a conversation. My offer, that I'm looking to see if they qualify for, is usually free, because to be perfectly honest, if I'm like 4 messages into a messenger conversation, they're just probably, they don't trust me enough to buy something from me, right? So typically when somebody new, I'm trying to find out if they could use some type of a lead magnet. And for me, it's usually my group, my Facebook group. And I want people to join my Facebook group, because my goal at the beginning is is to move people onto my lists, onto my group, my email list, and my YouTube channel. And it's not to sell them something. So, but the point is, I need to find out if there's somebody that could benefit from what it is that I'm offering, which in this case is, training and free strategies about how to market on Facebook, right? So I'm going to be asking them questions relating to that. And, to some degree, I do my qualifying by simply looking at the person's profile. And I can tell, if they're a marketer, if they're trying to use their profile, and say if they're not getting great engagement, then I kind of know this is a person who qualifies. So I can then pretty much just tell them about my group and ask them if they'd like to join. That's a subject for a different video, but the point here is if you can also do this with selling a product, and typically a low ticket type of product works best for this, because people are not going to just spend a huge amount of money if they don't really know you. But you want to ask them what you want to try to find out what the problem is that they're having, right? So if you're in like a business where the main product is a health and wellness supplement or something that is supposed to cure arthritis, for example. That's like a very good specific problem that your offer solves. It's people with arthritis. So, you need to find out if the person you're talking to has arthritis, right? That's to put it very simply. Now, a lot of these are kind of make money type deals, right? And so we are really looking for whether or not the person is doing well, whether they could use more money in their lives. And that's not super difficult to do, because there are questions that you can ask that will pretty much tell you that. Like, I like to say, so what do you do in the real world outside of this marketing stuff? Haha. And if they tell me, oh yeah, I work in a dentist office or whatever, or I work at a grocery store, then I know that they're really not doing so well in their affiliate marketing business, right? So, because they wouldn't be working at the grocery store if they were. So, there's questions like that I'm gathering data about how is this person doing? What are their needs, right? And then, especially if it's something that is a little bit more expensive, if it's something that's cheaper, I will pretty much right away make an offer and say, hey, like for instance, I sell one of my front end offers is this Textbot offer, which is super cool. It's $100 one time, very easy. It's very unique, great, easy front end offer. And the little elevator pitch for it is very cool and clear. So, I might say, hey, so, I don't know if this is something you'd be interested in, but I've been building my affiliate marketing business and generating leads for my primary business using this really cool tool that's an automated text message sales robot that closes sales for you. It's the easiest thing I've ever, used. It pays 100% commission, whatever. Let me know if you'd be interested in checking out the tool. I think it's really cool for anyone who's doing online marketing. I might just send a message that says something like that. And that offer is cool enough, and that sounds appealing enough that most people are probably going to be like, yeah, sure, shoot me a link. And from there, I've got their attention. I've got them onto my offer page, and oftentimes they will actually buy that offer. So, but if it's something that's like a little more involved, like I want them to join a business or purchase a more expensive offer, something like that, I'm going to want to do this process of really getting them to open up emotionally to me, and really diagnosing their problems. So I'm going to be asking questions like, what are your goals for your business? How much money do you ideally want to be making? What are the obstacles that you have run into? Like, why are you not there yet? What would you do with, $5,000 a month, whatever it is that they tell me? Like, you want to make $5,000 a month? Okay, why? What do you want to do with that? The reason is I'm getting them to emotionally connect with their desires, and what they want. And I might ask them, well, that's awesome. You want to move to Costa Rica and whatever it is. They've got all these great dreams. Well, do you think you can get there on your own? Like, are you on track to getting there? I might ask them something like that. Point is, you know, you want to get the person to emotionally connect with their desires and feel the pain of not being there yet. And once you do that, if you've got a kind of a make money online type offer, that is, obviously, if you're selling like an arthritis cure, you want to be asking them about their arthritis, right? Like how long have you been in pain, etc. But once they've opened up to you and they've told you their pain points, they've told you their desires, how much they want it, what they would do if they got it, then you can kind of say, cool, well, I've actually got something that might help you, right? Yeah. You shouldn't say that, but you would then quickly present, a solution to that problem and ask them if they'd like to watch a video about it. It's like, well, interesting. Yeah, I know a lot of people who have been struggling with arthritis, and I myself was, and I started this kind of different therapy, and made a huge difference, and I've been able to make a big difference in a bunch of other people's lives because of this. Would you like to watch a 12-minute video that explains what it is and how it works? Something like that. This is completely an example, guys. I don't have arthritis. I've never sold anything for arthritis. I'm just, it's an example. So point is, you would then say something like that to get them interested. And if you've done the work of getting them to open up to you emotionally and to communicate with you and to tell you that they actually have X, Y, and Z problem, and you can then say, hey, well, I've got this solution. Are you interested in looking at it? They're going to say yes. Okay. So what we've done so far is we've contacted, communicated, found out if they're willing to communicate, established some communication. We've qualified them by finding out what their problems are and seeing if the problems match the offer. Obviously, if they don't have the problem, don't offer them anything, right? If they're like, yeah, my business is awesome, I make 8 figures and blah, 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 then you don't need to ever offer them anything. Just be like, cool, that sounds great for you, man. Have a good one. Right? So we've contacted, communicated, qualified them. The 4th step is to invite them, where we say, hey, well, would you like to take a look at something that would help you? That's invite. The next step, of course, is to just send them a video, which is the presentation. And that you don't need to do that over Messenger. You send them a video. The video can be of you, presenting the product or offer or whatever it is, or it can be of somebody else. It doesn't really matter. If you're not comfortable making videos, use somebody else's videos. If you are comfortable making videos, I think it does help to have you in the video. It just increases the, sort of trust factor, because you've been talking to that person, and now instead of having to transfer your trust onto somebody else, there's you again, and they kind of feel more connected with the person in the video if it's you. But if you are just terrified of making videos and you can't do it, use a someone else's video. So that's step 5, is the presentation. And then, guys, it's simple. After that, you just follow up with them and you say, hey, did you watch the video? What'd you like about it? Say, yeah, I watched the video. I thought it was cool. Whatever. Do you have any questions? Yeah, they have a couple of questions. You answer the questions. At no point do you sell them the thing. At no point do you try to convince them to buy it. Right? There's no hard close. They've watched the video. They might have some questions. You answer the questions. If you've answered all their questions, the hardest close that I would ever do is maybe to say, okay, do you have any other questions, or are you ready to get started? Most of the time, if the offer's good, they'll just buy it if they want it, right? You don't really have to close it. Okay. So That's the easy part, right? People are always like, well, what about objections? What about overcoming objections? I never overcome objections. It's just not a thing. Okay. Have a good offer. If the person has objections, if they're like, well, I can't afford it, fine. Okay. I mean, I can't afford it just means that they didn't see the value of it. If they don't see the value of it, then I guess they didn't, have a problem that they needed that solution to as much. Or maybe, you didn't do a good enough of a job getting them to open up to you and getting them to trust you, right? A lot of the time it means that. They don't believe that this is really going to help them because they don't necessarily believe you. So it's not a matter of like, there's nothing you can really do if they say like, I just don't want it or I just can't afford it. Just move on. Your time is much better spent with this type of thing, just talking to more people instead of trying to convince people who are making excuses. And it's very rare, almost pretty much never, that you're going to make a sale to somebody who is like less than excited about it, right? We want to keep this positive, exciting, upbeat, right? It's never about like trying to convince someone to give you money. Either they're excited about the offer and they're like, this is amazing, thank you so much, I'm jumping on board, I'm going to get this right now. Or else, they're like, yeah, okay, not for you, cool, move on, next one, right? There's no need to put on the pressure here. Yeah, so it's really just about talking to enough people, not being a salesy douchebag, being relatable, being authentic, having good quality, authentic, relatable content on your profile so that you feel like a real person, so that when you're talking to the people, they don't just feel like this is some marketer who's like trying to sell me stuff and whatever. They can kind of feel that you're a real person who's approachable. And then it's just about listening, and it's about asking the right questions and getting the people to tell you what their need is, right? We're looking for a need. We're not selling. We're simply looking for the need. Do they have a need? If they tell you that they have a need, you can offer them a solution. Now, again, if it's something that's like, the solution is like, I can show you how to get more engagement on Facebook, I don't really need them to like tell me that they don't have enough engagement on Facebook. I can just see that, right? If it's something that's simple like that, I kind of already know that they qualify, and I can kind of just invite them, right? I can just make the offer. And especially if it's free or cheap, they're most likely going to say yes. Yeah. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't be a jerk. Don't try to sell stuff. And do this consistently with enough people, and you'll make sales, especially if you are combining this strategy with the audience building and the know, like, and trust building. Because what you're doing there is you are creating, on that side of things, you're creating this group of people who know, like, and trust you, and they may not have yet made the decision to buy something from, a piece of content that you created. But if you then go and message them and start a conversation, they're like really happy to talk to you. And they're like, oh my gosh, he's messaging me. Thank you so much. Your content is so amazing. I've learned so much from you. They're much more likely to open up to you and tell you their problems and buy something from you. Yeah. So you need to be really doing both things at once. If you're just talking to people in Messenger and you don't have the audience building and the know, like, and trust factor stuff going on, and if you haven't watched my most recent videos, I was doing videos about that, so go and watch those. But if you don't have that side of it, like if your profile is like not much going on, it's just a bunch of good morning posts or something, you don't have a group, you don't have an email list, nobody knows who you are, and you're just talking to people, it's going to work much less. It's not going to be that successful. Whereas if you've got both going at once, that's where you can really start cranking out sales, pretty easily. So that's it, guys. That's kind of how to sell anything in Facebook Messenger. I call that the third pillar of marketing, which is communication skills. Remember the 7 steps: contact, communicate, qualify, invite, presentation, follow up, handle questions. If you stick to those 7 steps and you're not a douchebag and you listen to people, it works every single time. Okay, guys? So let me know what you thought in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a share, and please subscribe to my channel below. Click the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I do a new video. And of course, check out the links in the description where you're going to find some awesome stuff, including my Facebook group, including the offer that I mentioned, the Textbot offer, and including my primary business, which is completely done for you. You don't lift a finger, guaranteed residual lifetime income. You don't have to do anything. So there is literally not anywhere in the universe a better offer than this one. No excuse for not being in that. You can check that out in the links below. And that's it for me today, guys. Hope you're all having a good day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.